So, folks, we have to talk about something that I think is really important. Now, obviously, a lot of folks on the left are concerned about the upcoming midterms, specifically whether or not the Trump administration is going to try and meddle in them, and undoubtedly they will in certain ways, in certain cases, for certain candidates. But a lot of people are concerned that somehow the midterms are going to be suspended, or like by chance things don't go the Democrats' way. And I do want to say I have shared a lot of those same worries and concerns, but I'm not. I no longer have that level of fear for a couple of different reasons that I'm going to lay out here. Number one, earlier today, there was an article that went up on NBC News specifically about one MAGA champion, one real America First guy who's been running for office, named Ralph Alvarado. Now, it's really interesting because he just removed all mentions of Donald Trump from his website. All mentions of Donald Trump from his website. And this is pretty interesting because you can actually see just how different it is. America First fighter for Kentucky's 6th district. President Trump needs more allies in Congress to deliver on his bold vision to make America great again. With your help, I will be that fighter. Versus Ralph Alvarado, independent leadership for Kentucky. Healthcare isn't the talking point to me. It's been my life's work. In Congress, I will work with both parties to fight for affordable healthcare, lower costs, and practical solutions to help Kentucky families. It goes further than that. You have the original version here where he's posing alongside Donald Trump, and then you have the new version where he's all by himself. And the question here is, what's going on? What's going on? I believe that it is related to this. Trump's approval holds at record low as U.S. support for Iran war falls, Reuters Ipsos poll finds. And it shows Donald Trump's approval rate at 33%. But the issue here is that while his approval rating is remaining at 33%, people hate the things he's doing. The support for the Iran war continues to go down, and Trump, being the guy who unilaterally put us into war with Iran, is intimately connected with that specific trajectory, with that specific thing. And what's happening is that the reason his numbers get lower than 33% from here on out is that his policies are failing even among diehard Republicans. And so what's really interesting to me is that I think we are starting to see the beginning of this transition, if you will. The rats are starting to try and flee the ship. They're trying to like position themselves to come out of this okay, even if Trump goes down. And so I do want to say, I think that's a really good sign. That these people are panicking and having to change course and change tactics now, that's actually really good and really interesting. Now, there was another component to this that made me feel even better. I'm going to explain why in a moment, because first we have to talk about this, right? Which is that a lot of people over the last day or so have been really, really angry that Hakeem Jeffries met with Jared Kushner privately. They had a secret meeting. It was not supposed to be leaked out to the public. When we talk about this, I want to make 2 points. Number one, I do not think Hakeem Jeffries should have done this. I think it was a bad idea. I think Hakeem Jeffries is bad at politics. I think he's really good at organizing folks in the House. I think he's really bad at politics. Because basically everyone hated this. Every Democrat that heard about this instantly got angry. James Carville, one of the most establishment shills imaginable, got angry at Hakeem Jeffries over this. And so what I'm trying to get at here is that this is obviously a bad idea. To meet with an unelected representative of the Trump regime is, if not political suicide, it's like ingesting political rat poison. It's not great. The other point I want to make here is that I think that this was a good thing. Not in terms of Hakeem Jeffries choosing to do this, but about the other part of this, which came out late yesterday / early today. Jeffries responds to Kushner meeting backlash. No one from the Trump cartel is getting a pass. Number one, I don't believe him when he says that. I don't believe him when he actually says anything remotely about trying to fight these people. But what I do believe is this. Jeffries said Kushner reached out to him first, and he accepted so the pair could discuss affordability. His post emphasized, however, the House Democrats have pushed the Trump administration on issues including tariffs, the Affordable Care Act, nutritional assistance, and more. Now, I don't really care about what kind of deal he's trying to cut here or how he's trying to spin this. What I care about is what it would mean for Jared Kushner to reach out to Hakeem Jeffries. I hate everybody involved in this story, to be clear, but what does it mean for Hakeem Jeffries to be approached by Jared Kushner? To me, what that says is that the Trump administration itself has a kind of actual understanding of where the wind is blowing here, and that they are not going to be able to do what they want after the midterms. What I view this as is a kind of acknowledgement that Trump and Trump's little cluster of cult of personality, his cult politicians, I think they're going to lose really badly in the midterms, and I think that this is an acknowledgement of that, and to some degree an acceptance of that. And so when I say that this is kind of a good thing, what I mean is I see this as the Trump camp trying to meet with Hakeem Jeffries in order to try and get, squeeze some last drops of juice for themselves out of the American public. You shouldn't, look, I'm not saying you should trust Hakeem Jeffries. I am saying that what it means for Jared Kushner to come to Jeffries is an acknowledgement of Jeffries' position and likely position of power after the midterms. Are they trying to get on Jeffries' good side? Yes. Because as the Speaker of the House, he would be wielding an enormous amount of power. Keep in mind, he would be third in line to be president. And so he is, in fact, the head of a co-equal branch of government. And so when they are approaching him, it's not like he's just some dipshit guy, even though he is. He's some dipshit guy who's likely going to be Speaker of the House. Their camp acknowledging that, in my mind, makes me feel a little bit more comfortable with how the midterms are going to go. I read it as a kind of tacit admission that they're going to lose really fucking badly come the midterms. I don't know why he even accepted such a meeting. Well, because you have to understand a couple of different things in so far as why he would accept a meeting like this. Democrats have long had this accepted wisdom that being bipartisan and making deals across the aisle builds their credibility with conservatives and wins them some kind of secret middle-of-the-road vote. How do I put this? They view it, and the idea of just not doing anything, like kind of pulling a Mitch McConnell against Obama, they view the idea of not doing anything in Congress as political suicide, as absolutely insane. You cannot just do nothing. But the reality is, right now, the politically savvy thing to do would be for them to get into power and stop Donald Trump from basically doing anything at all for the next 2 years. Stymie him. Pull Trump administration officials in front of Congress at every available opportunity. Like, weaponize the fact that you are a co-equal branch of government and put a stop to this lunacy. Like, that's what the American people want. But it's directly at odds with conventional democratic wisdom. And Hakeem Jeffries, by taking this meeting, kind of indicates that he lacks, the kind of nose for modern politics that other politicians of the moment have. He accepted this because he's bad at politics, but he accepted it also because he does come from a place where he believes he needs to get things done. I believe this is another political miscalculation on his part, but that's, I think, why he took the meeting in the first place. He's presided over Democrats losing constantly, being bipartisan, and then continues to do the same thing. Well, yeah, because he's a neoliberal establishment shill. Like, he was groomed for that by Nancy Pelosi, The difference is Nancy Pelosi was at least pretty savvy when it came to politics. Like, as like a neoliberal leader, she had a nose for how to navigate politics very well. Hakeem Jeffries does not have that same talent, but he has the same instinct that Nancy Pelosi imparted onto him. I don't trust that Jeffries didn't agree to a shit deal like promise not to impeach Trump and we'll let you pass a resolution saying, hey, ICE, you better behave yourselves. I mean, look, that is entirely possible, but that's kind of beside my point here. My point here is that when we talk about this particular story, Donald Trump being at record low popularity, the Iran war continuing to plummet in the eyes of the American public, Republican politicians who have called themselves America First fighters suddenly scrubbing their websites of mentions of Donald Trump, and then Jared Kushner approaching Hakeem Jeffries for this secret meeting to essentially, I would say, discuss terms of surrender. I think these are all good things. I don't think Hakeem Jeffries should have done this, but I think all of these signs are positive for where we're going when it comes to the midterms. I hope you all understand what I mean. Anyway, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about all this, and also get organized. Because I do want to clarify before we finish, they are going to try fuckery. Jared Kushner might have been coming to discuss some kind of terms of surrender or coexistence or what have you with Congress. But they are still going to try everything in their power to stop Congress from turning blue. Do we need to worry about mail-in ballots? Yeah, I would say so. Absolutely. Yeah, parts of Trump's executive order is going to be a problem. That being said, there are still many legal challenges coming towards it, and I don't know if it will be implemented for the midterms. Kushner was demanding that Congress surrender. I don't agree. I don't think that is the case. Look, in order for that to be the case, Donald Trump would have to have a lot more power than he currently has. He would have to have a colossal amount of support among the general population. He just does not have that. And if he was doing that, the most savvy thing Hakeem Jeffries could possibly do is tell people that. Trump doesn't have power, he takes it. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know how to get through sometimes. We live in a democracy. He didn't take power by force. He got elected by Americans. We can talk about how that was a mistake. We can talk about how it was unfair. We can talk about that all day long. When we're talking about this, Trump doesn't have the power to do tariffs. He does. The president has the power to tariff. Republicans explicitly gave him that power because they are cowed by him. Congress could strip that from him, and that's something that Democrats in Congress would certainly do if they come into power. But when we're talking about this specific set of circumstances, no, Donald Trump is not demanding the surrender of Congress while holding a handful of losing cards. What is trying to be done here is like some kind of negotiation so that every damn day members of the Trump administration and members of Trump's inner circle aren't being pulled in front of Congress on pain of contempt. You know, like they're not... What they're doing is trying to save their own asses. What they're doing is trying to make it easier for themselves because they aren't competent. They aren't capable. They aren't popular. They do not have the juice to do the things that they would want to do. Because guess what? If they had the ability, they would just rip up the Constitution. They would just get rid of the midterms. And they just say, it's not happening. Too bad. But he doesn't have the ability to do that. He would have done it already if he did. And they're trying. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? That this is the part that I'm getting a little frustrated about, is that I've explicitly said multiple times here that they're going to try shit. And that we need to continue to organize and stop them. When you organize to stop... guys... For the last, 3 days, every single time I talk about a smidge of good news, all of you are like, why have you betrayed the cause? I don't understand. Guys, I'm just calling it like I see it. This is good news. These are good signs. This is a good thing. Jared Kushner approaching Hakeem Jeffries, the next presumed Speaker of the House, to discuss terms is good. That's good. Hakeem Jeffries shouldn't have taken that meeting. That's bad. It's bad politics. It's bad optics. But also, Trumping at record levels of unpopular, great. Trump being delegitimized at every opportunity, great. Him losing sway with his base, great. Even die-hard Republican politicians currently running for office are scrubbing him from their websites. That's good. When we talk about all of these things in conjunction, the picture it paints is of a tyrant losing his grip. If he had the ability to cancel the elections, he would do it, but he doesn't. And I'm going to let you guys know, he's less popular right now than he was after January 6th. And so what's happening here is they're not going to try to violently overthrow the Capitol again because he's less popular. He has less support now. So all these things are good. All these things make it less likely that he succeeds in his authoritarian project. All of these things combined paint a picture that your organizing and resistance is working. It is building up some kind of backbone in at least some of the Democrats. It is getting people elected all over the place that are convincing at least some establishment Democrats to grow a spine. What is happening right now is good. And what I'm trying to say is you should continue to organize. You should continue to push. We should continue to fight because we're winning. And so if you are on board with that plan, join your local Dems. Join your local DSA, okay? That's where we can do a lot of our organizing work, and almost all of us have access to one or both of those organizations. Join your local Dems, join your local DSA. If you need help getting started, you can join our Discord. Reach out to GamerG for help with DSA. Reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy, non-tucking lingerie. And you know what? I'm wearing it right now. It's super comfortable. It's my go-to. And I think maybe it might be yours too. Chances are if you're watching this, maybe, or someone you know. So check it out. Tell your friends. And there's a link down in the description for it. And I can't remember if I said this, but like, comment, subscribe, yada, 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 all that stuff. You know the drill. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, dating, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard.